me sink it. Do a little bit of this. Hey folks, how's it going? We are in Galesburg, Illinois for the 50th anniversary Stearman fly-in. So up in Galesburg, Illinois, it's kind of central Illinois. Great time. Tons of aircraft. They're hoping to have over, I think they've got over 100 some odd folks registered. So it'll be kind of cool to see how that goes, but over 100 Stearmans. We're out here, beautiful evenings, flying, just doing nothing but flying. And hopping rides and all that kind of stuff. It's supposed to be all sorts of cool stuff going on. You can see some of the folks that have arrived. It's been a busy early week, so it's kind of cool. So it's going to be a good time. So we'll catch you guys later. In the meantime, take a look and see what we did. We basically left Fort Worth, Texas, and headed up to Galesburg, Illinois. Ended up with several aircraft, picked up several aircraft mid-route from Texas, and that's what's going on. So take a look, have a good one. We'll see you on the back end of this thing.
And so it begins. One of the things if you've ever been in an open cockpit aircraft, it has the elegance of sitting on a few lawn chairs. As a result, it takes a while to get all organized, set up, figured out, helmets on, things tied down, more things tied down, straps put up, things of that nature. So there's a lot of fiddling about. You've got a lot of external effects such as wind and sun and all that getting on you. Now, if you notice, I'm taking the video off of the left wing, and I cleverly forgot the fact that the sun rises in the east and we're going north. So as a result, we are you're going to see the shady side of the aircraft. So that's what's going on there.
Clear.
Now we're taking off from Sanger, Texas, just north of the Dallas Fort Worth area. The weather had come through the day before. There was some stratiform type stuff, but we had plenty of ceiling to get north. There were some areas there that we had to be kind of cautious of. Most importantly, we were also meeting up with 3 other aircraft. They ended up getting, because they were 40 miles south of us, they ended up getting into some weather. One of them had a mechanical issue they had to address. Notice there's a real heavy dew from the night before, very heavy dew, a lot of mist and all that, so everything was kind of just very wet. You'll see the tires slinging some moisture off. Here we go. 220 thundering horsepower pushing this beast. 1942 Stearman N2S. Aircraft originally was delivered to Norman, Oklahoma, and trained naval aviators. Up and away. As we break through the trees, you can see that ceiling up there a couple thousand feet. Got away with it. Wave to the neighbors. So we had very good visibility, but limited sailing. So we were heading north to clearer weather as the flow pretty much moves to the north and east and the center part of the country. Another note is if you're going to go in an open cockpit airplane, don't wear a t-shirt because it ends up being a tank top. So, rookie mistake on my part. I wasn't thinking. We'll go long sleeves next time. We did have some layers down there, which was kind of neat. We were skirting about the perimeter of it, but we actually were moving the plane around. We were able to get some really kind of cool pictures with the clouds all around us. Kind of neat stuff. There's the instrument panel, fully instrumented, 1942. Scott, the aircraft commander, in the back seat. Doesn't suck. So we were headed to Carlton's Landing in the Arrowhead State Park up in eastern Oklahoma. That was where we're going. One of the neat things we went over was the McAllister ammunition plant, which is originally the naval depot built back in 1943. Kind of neat. It was an inland depot for building ammunition. This aircraft was a year earlier over in Oklahoma City, central part of the state. So two naval activities, kind of kindred spirits. This is coming in at Carlton's Landing. Beautiful airport on Eufaula Reservoir. If you ever have the opportunity to go there, if you're looking for some peace and quiet, Eufaula Reservoir is absolutely pristine and beautiful. I almost don't want to tell people to go there because they'll mess it up. Well, just buy a Stearman and fly around. How's that sound?
Like one of those little triangle inspection things.
Okay, as I said before, working with a open cockpit airplane, every stop is a little bit of a chore. Gotta get your seat belts in the right place. Gotta find them again, make sure you're not sitting on them. I'm diddling around with cameras and whatnot in the front, trying to work the cameras. We've got the GoPro on the wing, GoPro on the grab handle in the back. They're only doing the takeoffs because the GoPros, being remote mounted like that, I don't have any extra power for them, so they only last for about an hour. We're doing about 130 miles each leg, so it's a 2-hour sortie, and the batteries just don't last internally. So, trying to get everything set up, getting our nav hooked up. Our navigation for this trip was all ForeFlight. I was using my phone up on my cockpit. Scott was running the iPad in the back. He had that going with ship's power. Carlton's Landing is a nice airport. They've been putting some money into it. They've got some very nice hangars there. Great fuel, nice self-serve fuel, no problem. Great nice little pilot's break room or whatever, restroom, place to sit down, do your flight planning, that kind of stuff with the students if you want to do that. all in all, a very nice place. Looks like they're putting some money into it. And it's in Arrowhead State Park right there in eastern Oklahoma. Definitely a worthwhile through stop for sure. Now I've deleted the run-ups and I've deleted the engine warm-ups and all that, so that takes a long time with a radial engine. You want to make sure everything's warm, so a lot of that we've just taken out of the video. Then lining up, rolling forward, getting the tail wheel straight, making sure it's in where it's supposed to be, and then bring the power on. Wave at the golfers down low. As you can see, Eufaula is an absolute pristine, beautiful lake. So if you're looking for serenity, a place to get away, man, that's the place. Probably a unknown to a lot of folks kind of place to go. So highly recommend. You can see it's just pristine. Things you don't have to worry about when you have a closed cockpit. Twirly things. And we're in chicken country, so we've got the big chicken barns. If you see those out there, those are our chicken barns. That's where your chicken comes from. All over a lot of eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. You can tell those. The other neat thing about an open cockpit biplane, or really any airplane, is when you're out bombing around and you see something cool, well, just dip a wing, take a look at it, check the left side out, check the right side out, and then pretty much get back on your way. Very cool. Weather was fabulous. Temperatures were perfect. This is coming into Monette. They're building a brand new runway out there, so for any fast movers, Monette will definitely be a place to stop. Nice, folks. We were able to do a quick turn, self-serve fuel. Really pretty nice. We actually had some traffic in the pattern we had to wait for to do our departure, but all in all, great place. very fortunate on this trip. There really were no bad airports or crummy airports to go into. Well, maybe on the way home we'll talk about that. We had actually kind of one that was kind of not as good as it could be, but we'll talk about that maybe. I don't know if I've got the video on that, but something else to look at. All that brown dirt on the right side, or west side of the runway, is all new runway going in. I assume the current runway will probably end up being a taxiway, something of that nature. Next leg was going to Jeff City, Missouri. We were going to meet our party. We were in dialogue with them, texting back and forth during our stops, where we knew what their travels were, their delays, so we were able to, we actually got into Jeff City kind of early. So we just did those 3 legs. We'll have 3 legs on day 1 for us, and then they did some different stops, but we all rounded up in Jeff City. Jeff City was, again, another great overnight. Folks are really good for us and all that. So here we are, taxiing out of Monette, kind of heading out. If we had wanted to, really could have gone into Galesburg, but we were rounding up for social reasons up in Jeff City. So this was actually a pretty easy leg. As you can see, the weather just couldn't be any better for us. Absolutely a treat. Got them all in the pattern, doing touch and goes. Kind of great to see folks out. Those tires are about the size of car tires. They're pretty big old tires, and they've got hydraulic shocks on them and all that, so it provides a pretty nice ride. And you can see how the aircraft was designed for grass fields and whatnot from the late 1930s, early 1940s. Quite a very nice ground handling aircraft. I get lined up and give it the beans. And we don't have the beacon on the belly, if you noticed, because, well, it's not dark out. So if you can't see, you're probably going to see a yellow airplane before you see a red flashing beacon. You can see the enormity of that runway project. So, as I said, for you fast movers, jet aircraft, Monette's going to definitely be a destination for any through trips you may have. Pretty serious operation, and they're cutting. Looks like they're cutting through a county road too, so it's going to be quite a long runway. And we're taking off to the south all day long, which means we've got to make a crosswind and a downwind departure to the north. You can see all that terrible weather on the horizon. Absolutely fabulous weather. Winds were light. The flow was north and east, so we had a tailwind the whole way up. We were going to fight that on the way back. You'll see that in part 2. But heading north was a dream. Really made some good time. This is the Lake of the Ozarks. This is the exact opposite of Eufaula. I had never really been over there down low, but I could not believe the amount of traffic that was out on the lake. Absolutely crazy busy. So if you want to hang out with a bunch of folks, Lake of the Ozarks, it's a place to go. I've never seen that many boats, that many marinas on an inland lake at the density that I saw there, so quite a deal. Coming across the river into Jeff City. Jeff City's on the lower plain where the river is, and coming in there, nice flat, beautiful flat areas, just the flats, the river flats, so to speak. And the capital is just on the other side of the river to the west of us. We cross that. Little concentration from the captain in the back. Now we were having an issue with our tail wheel, so we had a little bit of a shimmy in it. We weren't sure what was going on. Long story short, we were running the camera facing forward, so after this leg you'll see nothing but tail wheel shots because we were trying to figure out what was going on with the tail wheel. And of course, when the camera was running, it never acted up, so we had no video of that. We did find out that we changed the inflation when we were up in Illinois, and all our issues went away. This is how the ramp greeted us when we showed up in the evening or late afternoon, actually mid-afternoon probably, because we were smoking it. We were really moving fast for a Stearman. Next leg was the next day, Jeff City up to Galesburg, 162 miles. Doing a flight of 4, kind of loose formation, kind of a combat spread. So we're loading all that up. Same kind of deal. We've got a storage bin down in the forward area that we can secure all the luggage. So I'm kind of fiddling with that, making sure everything's in good shape there. Everything's set and then secured. Then we check our control throws and all that. Get our belts on, get our helmets on, intercom, get our iPad, iPhones going, get all that stuff going. Things you kind of take for granted in a closed cockpit airplane is a little harder to do in a open cockpit airplane. That flashing on the wingtip, that's the other aircraft next to us, kind of a reflection off of our wings. Nice early departure. Things are nice and cool. And here we have the gratuitous tail wheel shot. And after I took the tail wheel shot, I realized tail wheels really take a beating. The little itty bitty wheel does all the driving over the same stuff that the big tires go over. And all those little holes and divots are just so much harder on the aircraft, or pardon me, on that little tire. And the tire has about a quarter of air in it. And we didn't do a section takeoff. We weren't doing any that kind of stuff. No formation takeoffs. What we did do is the tower kind of set us, kind of brought us all out to the stop taxi, and then launched us as a group of 4. And then each one kind of launched on their own power. And then we did a rendezvous turn coming north. and formed up with a loose echelon heading up there. So we didn't want to have to fly hard formation for 2 hours, so we just kind of did a nice spread and moseyed on up. Now I do have to apologize here because I was trying to be clever. There's a tail wheel. Check that out. I had the cameras, I was using remote control on the camera, so I thought, okay, in order to save batteries, I'll run remote control. That way, instead of lasting an hour, they will only they'll last 2 hours maybe. Unfortunately, for the camera to operate in any mode, the computer and the camera is operating, and it's sucking the battery down. So, as a result, my grand plan was a consummate failure. So I didn't really have much footage going into Galesburg. I had anticipated having all sorts of greatness. However, that was not to be. And we have great tailwheel footage. So, departing the Jeff City area, again, departing to the south, and then left turn and heading en route to our destination. Absolutely beautiful. The crops are still a couple weeks out from getting harvested, so a lot of the fields are still out there, full of stuff, all the corn, beans, all that. So they're not quite ready to harvest, but a couple weeks after we were there, they would be. You can see the other aircraft in formation there. So that's kind of the way we headed all the way up there, and then once we came into Galesburg, we did overhead brake and just did a sequence landing. And that is Missouri and coming into Illinois. Absolutely beautiful. So we did get up to Galesburg. We're going to do a whole lot more on what was going on in Galesburg, the social events, the technical things, aircraft that weren't Stearmans, a lot of the local color, a lot of the vendors having fun, showing us all different stuff. Really great folks wanting to talk to us. We were able to check out some of the local cuisine. We'll go over that. The flyouts were absolutely phenomenal. The local stuff was great. Got our bratwurst fill. Had a great time at some of the local craft brews. Good time. And things you just don't normally see at a biplane fly-in. So it was really kind of cool. A little bit of everything for everybody. It's great to see the town come out. A lot of history in Galesburg, a lot of neat things to see. You're going to see some more stuff on the different things that we did. That'll be coming up in part 2, more airplanes, and of course, more gratuitous tailwheel shots. So stay tuned for part 2.
Hey guys, well, we made it to Galesburg. Great time, 140 some odd aircraft registered. The 50th anniversary of the Galesburg flying with the Stearmans. Great time, great town. Folks were really great. We really had a good time. Did a lot of flying, grass strips out here, flyouts. Just a week of great flying stuff. So until next time, go fly yourself.